Purposely. Your life, God's purpose. Listen at onpurposely.com.
Drinking always came to play for me. And so I would do well, career-wise, I would do well, but on the weekends it was something else. I always had an opportunity to excel and get promotions, and I did all that. But I got introduced to something one weekend. It was called cocaine, and that's when it started.
We've all experienced it. You run into a friend from the past, but there's something different. They are changed. Maybe there is a calm where there once was a storm. Maybe there is gentleness instead of harshness. There's a new passion, a new life. What changed? Welcome to Brought Back to Life, a podcast where we explore stories of ordinary transformation.
My name is Alvin Taylor. I'm originally from Washington, D.C., born and raised there. My father and mother were professionals. My dad was a musician, and my mother worked for the Census Bureau, and she was a key punch operator. And she was always there encouraging me, but something was missing. There was a lot of drinking and gambling in my household. When they wasn't working, they was drinking. And so I guess at the age of 13, 14 years old, I took my very first drink, and it was a different reaction. I actually enjoyed it. But when I was in high school, it really took a hold of me. That's all I wanted to do was drink. But my head was clear at some point because I actually wound up with a career. I was a computer technician. And so I worked for the government for a number of years. And then I decided to go west, young man. And so I moved to California. Well, I can't say that I had bad experience working, but drinking always came to play for me. And so I would do well, career-wise, I would do well, but on the weekends it was something else. And so I never lost a job. I always had an opportunity to excel and get promotions, and I did all that. But I got introduced to something one weekend. It was called cocaine. And that's when it started. And so I worked for Nissan Motor Corporation, USA, in Carson, California. And I worked 5 years in a row, never missed a day. Matter of fact, they had to make me take vacation. But when I, at the last year of the 5 years, my life changed. I was going to work, leaving early, going to get high, come back to work. And so I wound up resigning. They wanted to know why, because I was doing well there, and went to work for the gas company as a manager. But I couldn't stop drinking and using. But it had a hold on me. And so I tried, at some point, I tried to stop on my own, if you will. And went to a couple of programs. In fact, I like to tell the story that I went to Kaiser so much, they told me, stop coming. Just don't come back no more. And so I left the gas company and went to work for Verizon. When it first started up as Verizon Wireless, and that's made of GTE and LA Cellular. And I went in there as a senior technician. I was actually good. I don't want to tell people that, but I was good. I kid you not, I only had to work like 4 days a week, but I couldn't make it to work because every time I got paid, I'll come up missing. Along the way, someone told me about Jesus. Someone mentioned that name to me. I heard of him, but I didn't know him. Didn't have a clue. And I kept going and going. And see, I asked this question before about how come it took me so long? It's because I had a job skill. I could get a job anywhere. I was a computer technician. I had this knack about troubleshooting problems, and I was good at that. And so I kept going on and on and on. I would quit one job, never got fired, get another job. But I think the beginning of the end for me is when I went to work for the county of Los Angeles. The government, to me, it's like As long as you come to work, as long as you show up, you really don't have to perform was a bad omen for me because I would come to work, sit at my desk, run around the building for a couple of minutes so everybody could see me, go out the back door and go get high. And this went on for years. I actually worked there for over 10 years. One day, had a moment of clarity. I went upstairs and I said, I'm resigning. And they said, again, why are you quitting? Because they're under the impression I'm doing a good job. And I said, I don't know why I'm quitting, but I got to go. I went into another program, got out of the program, wound up with another job, and started that cycle all over again. So then I took a turn. I said, you know what? Maybe it's the states that's doing this to me. It's got to be California. So I moved to Portland, Oregon. Oh, you're going to love this. I go to work at Portland General Electric. Good job, paying me good money. And man, I started out on swing shift. I was so good they moved me to day shift. I'm running the whole day shift. Next day I know I'm back at it again. No one showed me where the crack house was. I just found it on my own. What does the bottom look like? Well, I didn't know what the bottom was because I kept getting these jobs. And I wasn't a criminal, so I wasn't stealing, I wasn't robbing. I would go to work and actually get paid, but I would spend it all on the dope man. That went on. I must have worked for them, I guess, about 3 or 4 years. Quit. Went to work for ACS. That's another cell phone company. And then here's the ending. The ending is coming now. I'm not satisfied. I'm not happy. I'm trying to do the right thing. Keyword, I'm trying to do the right thing. And only thing I could come up with, it must be the area. I don't know nobody in Seattle, so let me go to Seattle. And I come down here, but the job is not coming as easy because I'm losing my skills. Technology is always revolving, always moving. So my skill set is not as sharp as it used to be. And I'm losing all, and I just couldn't find a job fast as I wanted to. And I'm running around, not knowing anybody. I'm running around, and I finally stumbled on Seattle Union Gospel Mission. Now, I had a game plan when I walked through them doors because they said you can come in, you get a meal, you can sleep, and that sounded good to me. So I came in, had a meal, they let me sleep. It was my intent, you know what, let me hang around here for a little bit. And I kept running in and out of these doors. And finally, someone says to me, hey, man, you want to join the program? And so I'm thinking, it's cold outside. I can get a bed upstairs. I can kind of kick back. And they had a nerve giving me devotions first thing in the morning, telling me I got to do this. I got to do that. And I'm like, what? And I sat down with one of the counselors, and he explained the Bible in a way that I never heard it before. He told me about this Jesus guy and what he done for me. And I'm thinking to myself, man, he did what? Died for me? But I think before I really accepted Jesus in my heart, I think it was the attitude of the case manager who allowed me to talk about my trust issues, talked about, even though I don't have the story of my parents wasn't there. I don't have that story, but it wasn't no love in the house. And no one really took the time to hug me, touch me, ask me how I'm doing. Not even look at my report cards. And I was bringing home some F's and no one really cared. And so when the case manager started taking that interest in me, and started holding me accountable on the homework that he was giving me, at first was a little resistance on my part, but finally, when I recognized that he really, really cared for me, that's key, cared for me, I began to open up my heart, accepting Jesus. And so I like to talk about Psalms 40 when it talks about waiting patiently on the Lord. Because what happens when you first receive him, we think we're going to hear trains, planes, and buses. And that's not true. You have to wait on him, because I think some of that is we have to understand that he's a right now God, even though we don't understand the presence of him, but he's right there with us. And so when I started realizing that all that mess that I was going through, he was there all the time. I just needed to reach for him. The process was long, because even though I was getting fed and getting nourished, I still had one eye in the streets, if you will. I still wasn't sure if this is the way, because I still was having what I call urges, that this is not real. Let me get up out of here. But because I stood there, because I waited, it's that piece in Psalms 40 when it says it pull you out of the muck and mire. When he pulled me up and planted my feet on a solid rock. See, I'm on that rock now, and there's no way in the world that I can slip or fall unless I jump off the rock, because he got me. I'm still having struggles today. We all have struggles today, but we're all in the same boat, but we're all in different storms. The storms are different for all of us. And so I choose today knowing that I don't have to use, unless I go out there on purpose. I have to consciously go back and do what I was doing. But I got a made up mind, because Jesus is with me. And so prayer is important to me. One of the things I learned here was quiet time, spending time with the Father. I was sharing with somebody about some mornings when I get up and sit in my chair, you got to have this little portion of your house that you sit and just pray. Sometimes Jesus speaks so loud to me, but sometimes he's the quietest person in the room. Real quiet, real still. I can't tell you, other than today I cry. I have never cried before. Tears are rolling down my eyes, and I'm not doing I'm doing real tears rolling down my eyes, and they're happy tears. I'm thankful for what he done for me. He chose me. So I let my light shine before men, because if he did it for me, he'll do it for you. And so I walk this out every day. Every day I walk this out. And it's such an honor that not only did I graduate from the program here, but I wound up being a volunteer here for a year and a half before I accepted a job here. And because I want people to see that Jesus is real, and Jesus will change if you want to change. You have to want to change. And when I tell you that I've been to, without exaggeration, probably 30-something programs. When I tell you that I know what real rock bottom looks like, because it had to have been Jesus drawing me, because I never even thought of a Union Gospel mission before. And when I was growing up, when people was laying in the street, was calling them hobos. Now they call them homeless people. I never thought I would be one of those people. But it's the best decision I ever made in my life when I walked through the doors. It's no better than this. So every day when I go home, I'm blessed. And I think about, did I help somebody today? Did somebody see Jesus in me today? So everywhere I go, I love wearing the Union Gospel Mission hat, the jacket, because I want somebody to ask me a question. In fact, just yesterday when I went to pick up my, I call it dinner, but it was a hamburger and fries, and the lady said, "You work for the mission?" And when you do that to me, you just open up the door. I'm going to talk about some stuff. And then, because I want people to know that real things are happening down here at the Seattle Union Gospel Mission. It's the real deal.
Helping the lost become found with Seattle's Union Gospel Mission. Seattle's Union Gospel Mission doesn't just provide food and shelter. They offer a path out of homelessness, giving men and women a safe place to recover from addiction and start on the path toward a new life.
Jesus said in the Bible, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die." And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this? We are telling these stories of transformation so you can know and understand the power of Jesus in your own life. If you'd like to learn more about Jesus and how he can bring you back to life, visit us at onpurposely.com/whoisjesus. And if you like Brought Back to Life, please give us a 5-star rating and a review. You can follow Brought Back to Life on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or wherever you're listening right now. You can also just tell your smart speaker, play Brought Back to Life podcast.